It's time for Overreaction Monday here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. This comes after the Bears win again, 31-28 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. More reactions and takeaways from this one, and then we'll turn the page to the Philadelphia Eagles. Quick week as they play on Black Friday in Philly. But speaking of the Eagles, it's time to start a Week 13 subscriber battle. I'm taking on Chase Sr. and Eagles Now. Bears now, Eagles now. We're starting clean slate this week. If you want to win this competition, if you want to beat the Eagles on Friday and in the Chat Sports offices, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, free and daily Bears content. All right, Overreaction Monday, a few topics I want to hit on. Did Ozzy Trapilo earn the left tackle job moving forward? I'm going to go 3 smoking Jays. I think it's pretty likely, at least for now, right? Like, short week, Theo banged up. Like, I'm at least giving him another start. I mean, nice debut, right? It felt like he played well in real time. PFF graded him out well. Also, a pass blocking grade of almost 85. Run blocking in the 60s, which is a tick above average. Only gave up 1 pressure. Didn't have a penalty. He's clearly an upgrade over Theo in pass pro. Now, I think the dilemma the Bears have probably had with Theo and Ozzy is that Ozzy's a better pass protector. Theo's better in the run game. So it's kind of one of those situations. But if you go back to what Ben Johnson said in training camp is they want someone who can block one-on-one. That's their number one priority. Now, I'm sure Ozzy had a lot of chipping help from tight ends and stuff like that, but for a first career start at left tackle, not his natural position, I thought it looked pretty good. I'd keep him over there, at least for now. You know, you can kind of approach this week to week. You know what you have in Theo. Benedet, obviously, if he's back and ready to go, he's a plus in the run game. I think if it's me, the ideal situation is Ozzy's your left tackle and Theo's your 6th guy. I think you just flip those roles because remember the last several weeks, Ozzy's been used, 8, 10, 12 snaps per game as an extra offensive lineman. Well, usually when you're going jumbo like that, that's going to be a running play. Well, Theo's a really good run blocker. So why not just flip their roles? Make Theo the 6th offensive lineman, bring him in as an extra blocker, 10, 12 snaps per game, and have Ozzy be the left tackle. That's what I would do, at least, from a week-to-week basis. If he has a really bad game, you can always switch back. But I thought for a first game against a good pass rush, Ozzy Trapilo did his thing. So kudos to him. And I don't want to think long-term, but what if he's the answer long-term? Then that gives you a lot of flexibility this offseason in terms of how you want to build up this roster in other key areas. All right, who would be your starting left tackle moving forward? And just talking about this season. Type OT for Ozzy Trapilo, TB for Theo Benedet. I'm rolling with Ozzy. You drafted him in the 2nd round. He looked comfortable out there. I would keep him in the starting lineup. Okay, speaking of keeping a guy in the starting lineup, Nahshon Wright, does he deserve to stay in the starting lineup? 4 smoking Jays. I mean, this guy has been awesome. I did a full video on him last night. Go check it out if you haven't already. No one saw this coming in terms of a guy who had been a career bust, was on the practice squad in Minnesota last year, comes here just to hope to fight for a roster spot. He's done a lot more than that. He's tied for the league lead in interceptions. And the reason we're asking this is like, well, of course he would remain a starter, Harrison. Well, if Jalen Johnson comes back, then you have Jalen Johnson, Nahshon Wright, and Tyrique Stevenson as your outside corner. So they can't all 3 play at once, at least not very often. I guess you could play one in the nickel, but Kyler Gordon's about to be back. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's played a lot in the nickel as well. So these are good problems to have, but they're going to be discussions that happen within Halas Hall. But again, what Nahshon Wright's been able to do has been fantastic. He just makes plays. Yes, he gets beat some. Yes, he'll have a penalty here and there. But 5 picks, 10 breakups. He's recovered a couple of fumbles, including that key one from Jaden Daniels in Washington that helped set up the game-winning field goal. I don't see how you take this guy off the field. How are you going to take Nahshon Wright off the field right now? I just don't see how you can do it, especially for a defense that's kind of feast or famine. Like, you need guys who can take the football away, and this guy's doing it. He is taking the football away. So more on this. Tyrique Stevenson, who got banged up yesterday. We'll talk about that coming up here in a second as well. But today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. It is the holiday season, the best time of year for sports. Bowl games coming up, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right. That is Prize Picks. I don't know about you, but my season-long fantasy football team has been in shambles all year. I got no shot at making the playoffs. That's why I love Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy is I can play with different players all the time. I can cross over my sports and my lineups as well. Just pick 2 or more players and take more or less on the different stat projections available to qualify for a Prize Picks lineup. By the way, new feature alert. Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. I got a little 2-player lineup tonight for you guys. I took more on Christian McCaffrey's targets. They throw to him a ton. 7's a lot, but I think they throw to him more than 7 times. And then Tedero McMillan's been really good for Carolina, and that Niners defense has had some injuries, so I'll take the more on his receiving yards as well, 66.5. $20 lineup to win $60. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. So, yeah, you've got this interesting dilemma coming up where this has been your cornerback room as of late, but Jalen Johnson could be back as soon as this week. Kyler Gordon could be back as soon as this week. And Nahshon Wright is playing some good football. Now, let's talk about Tyrique Stevenson, who I feel like the last week and a half, I say week and a half because he left yesterday's game early, has gotten back on track after a couple not-so-good games. But he's been banged up recently, and he left yesterday's game with a hip injury. So on a short week, it might just be one of those situations where if Jalen comes back, maybe you sit Tyrique, right? It's like give him a week off, let him heal up. Now, if he's healthy enough to play, you want the bodies, I get it, but he may not be able to. And if Jalen can be out there, maybe we get to see for a week what a Jalen Johnson, Nahshon Wright outside corner duo looks like. Now, Jalen hasn't played in a while, so there could be some rust there. But, again, when your guy – Nahshon Wright, who, ideally in this situation is your second outside corner. I always say this. If my second outside corner can take the ball away, he can get beat some. If he's creating turnovers, that's what you want. Whereas Jalen Johnson, teams don't even throw at him much because he's so sticky in coverage. So that's kind of an ideal tandem if that ends up being the case. So I think if all things are equal, all things are healthy, I think Nahshon Wright deserves it. I think he should be out there at least to start over Tyrique Stevenson, and then Tyrique Stevenson's a hell of a luxury to have as a backup or a rotation guy. What say you? Who should be that other outside corner if all these guys are healthy, which, again, may not be the case? Type NW for Nahshon Wright or type TS for Tyrique Stevenson. Okay, let's talk a little more playoffs. Are the Bears a playoff team? 3 smoking Jays. I think it's pretty likely right now. Certainly, the schedule down the stretch is tough. The playoff predictors aren't fully on board yet, as the NFL.com right now gives the Bears a 62% chance of making the playoffs, which for an 8-3 team feels a little low. But in a crowded NFC, the way the Bears have been winning these close games, I think all that kind of factors into it. But the Bears have put themselves in a really good position, right? 8-3, you got 6 games left. You do play consequential games. You got the Packers twice. Obviously, Eagles this week. I would guess this. If they beat the Eagles on Black Friday, that 62% turns into what, 85? I would guess it skyrockets if you win that game. You got the Packers twice, Browns at home, at 49ers and the Lions. None of those are layups, including Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders showed some life yesterday. Myles Garrett feels unblockable. So, that's a team that, on any given Sunday can just wreck a game with Myles Garrett. But I look at this, and it's pretty simple. If you go 3-3, I think you're a lock. I think 11 wins, you're locked in. 10 wins, you still probably have a pretty good chance, but if I'm the Bears, first of all, I'm not capping my ceiling at anything at this point. This team has shown they can win games. But, in the back of your head, you're probably thinking, okay, if we play 500 ball, we're going to be in the postseason. You go 4-2, you're probably winning the division, depending on who you beat. So that's really, really exciting to think about. But one game at a time, Eagles on Friday, that's got to be the focus. What is your confidence level in the Bears making the playoffs? Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not confident at all, 10 being very. I'll go 8-2. I feel good. I don't think this team's going to go 1-5. I know the schedule gets tougher, but it's like So what? They're finding ways to win. They know how to win games. Doesn't mean they're going to win the Super Bowl. I still don't think they're a great team, but they are a good football team. The Chicago Bears are good. How good are they? Again, we'll find out as these games continue to get tougher and ramp up. All right, that's going to do it for this morning edition of Chicago Bears Now. We will be back live this afternoon, 4 o'clock Central Time, for Bears Now Live. Victory Monday stream. We'll kind of look ahead to Philadelphia, get your questions on the show, and a whole lot more. So be sure to subscribe and join us. See you guys in a few hours. Bear down.